Alive!
Hi!
Alive!
Hi! Hi. Hi, my internet family. Long time no see. Right now, it's October 9th, which means it's been like 3.5 weeks since I've uploaded a video. I just posted a little community note, so if you saw that, you might already know I got sick again in kind of a fun new way. If you want a little, just a little TLDR, I had a seizure. I had a little seizure. So I had a seizure in September, but I'm feeling a lot better now.
Honey, you've got a big storm coming.
And I know that some people don't care about a health update, which is totally fine if you're just here for books and movies and things. So I'll put a more extended health spiel at the end of the video in case you want to hear what was going on. And so you don't have to hear about it if you don't want to, or if it makes you anxious. It'll be at the end of the video. So it's my first October on BookTube, and I want to make sure that I get at least one spooky, creepy video in. And so we're doing a 5-star prediction video, horror edition. I have so many options for this, I don't actually even know how to narrow them down. These are all things that I really think could be 5 stars. A Mask of Flies by Matthew Lyons, The Night Guest by Hildur Knutsdottir. Sorry. Into the Drowning Deep by Mira Grant, Grey Dog by Elliot Gish, Chlorine by Jade Song, Monstrilio by Gerardo Simona Cordova, Crypt of the Moon Spider by Nathan Ballingrad, Coup de Grace by Sophia Ajram, and Someone You Can Build a Nest In by John Wiswell. That's 9 books that could be a 5-star that I really thoroughly believe in. But for now, I started Chlorine last night, which according to the blurb is about a girl who really, really wants to become a mermaid. Egg. So I'm like 79 pages into Chlorine, and I'm not loving it in the way I want to be loving it. I was under the impression that it was going to be a lot more fantastical, and instead it's mostly just swim team. And I don't particularly care about swim team. I might just be at the point in my life where I no longer want to read about high school sports. I actually I don't think I've ever been at a point in my life where I wanted to read about sports. I don't think, have I ever enjoyed reading books about sports? If you're not new here, you'll know that I'm not a romance reader, but the last thing that I would be interested in reading right now is like a sports romance, which is not what this is. It's not a sports romance. I'm on a tangent now. The last thing I would ever be interested in reading right now is a sports romance. And they're so popular right now. I mean, at least this is just like competitive high school swim team. But there are so many books right now that are like, it's a hockey romance. Or he's a baseball player and she's his physical therapist. He's a football player and she jerks him off in the locker room. Keep it away from me. I get that there's an intensity and like an inherent ferality in high school sports with the hormones and the competition and all that. It's just not doing it for me. Also, so far, I'm 79 pages in. There's 0 horror. Anyway, I'm gonna keep going. Okay, it's, nope. Lighting. Okay, it's 2 days later. Hold on. It's 2 days later. Come on. Come on. Hi. Lay down. Okay, it's 2 days later. This is too bright, but I'm not moving. It's 2 days later, and I've finished Chlorine. As you Canadians would say it, I'm done the book. I didn't love her. Okay, bye. Can I help you? Okay. Like I said, I know a lot of my fellow weird girls out there love this book, but I think I'm landing at like a 3, at like maybe a 3. What do you think? I really went in expecting more fantasy, more mermaid, considering, oh, who's that? So more mermaid and way less intimacies of being on a swim team. The horror really only comes in at the end, and up until the last 20%, it's more like an angsty teenage general fiction. Bless you. Wow. I really did like some of the commentary that was going on, especially around reproductive systems and the violence that like inherently comes with having a uterus. What are you don't have a uterus anymore. Oh, did you not know that? I'm so sorry. Oh God, I'm sorry. Okay. Anyways, I found some of the language a little whiny and juvenile even for her being a teenager. And a lot of the time she just kind of came off as like a damp Holden Caulfield. And listen, I love angst and yearning and everything that comes along with that, but damp Holden Caulfield is not it for me. So 3. I need to be specific with my next choice. I'm going camping for 1 night only. So I want, oh, let me get in the frame. I'm going camping for 1 night only. So I want to bring a short book that's a hardcover so that I don't f it up while I'm braving the wilderness. And I do want to try a few new releases during this video. So I think I'm gonna bring Coup de Grace with me by Sophia Ajram. Goodbye. Hello. By the way, that is how you pronounce this. It is coup de grace. Do I sound like a pretentious fuck? Sorry. I took French for 10 years. So this is the one time it's ever come in handy. This came out on October 1st. This just came out. It's a 5-star prediction because it basically seems to be about some kind of purgatory or like some version of hell, which is a concept I loved in A Short Stay in Hell. I'll go get it. A Short Stay in Hell by Stephen L. Peck, which was a 5-star. And I pre-ordered Coup de Grace because there was a blurb where I saw it getting compared to Piranesi by Susanna Clarke, which, spoiler alert, is one of my favorite books of all time. So, between the comps here, it seems like this should be a perfect 5-star for me. Let's go camping! Okay, leaving the campground, I found a little free library. Is there anything good? Perfect. So, nothing. All right, never mind. Well, goodbye.
3 days later.
Wow. Okay. So I read the first half of Coup de Grace while I was camping, and technically I understand the Piranesi comparison, but the similarity stops at like the vaguest outline of a concept of the setting. Beyond that, don't say her name when talking about my baby. This is one of the best books of all time. This disappointed me and I had really high hopes. I maintained a lot of hope for the first half of this book. There were a lot of quotes that hit pretty hard as a registered owner of both chronic depression and chronic illness. There were multiple lines where I stopped and said, ouch, under my breath. There were also one or two scenes where we ventured a little bit into annihilation territory. And so at least we're getting more horror than we did in Chlorine. In the back half of the book, I realized that the author went to the Taylor Swift school of throwing a thesaurus at the wall and using every single word that sticks. And I want you to please note, I'm a big fan of purple prose, and this was definitely a debut author's attempt at it. But instead, unfortunately, it came off as a whole lot of word salad, just extremely word salady. And then there's also a format, I won't say anything more than that for spoilers, but there's a format used at the end of the book that totally it for me. It really took me out of the story. Also, if you want to read this book still, I don't usually say this, but check trigger warnings. There's a lot of unaliving ideation. That's actually, the entire book is about unaliving ideation. Did I ever say what this book was about? Oh, I think I touched on it, but I didn't actually say. The main character, what is your name? Vicken. He wants to unalive himself, and so he takes a train to the beach that he's gonna do it at, and he steps off the train and he's in some kind of version of hell, some kind of purgatory, and he can't get out, and he has to figure shit out from there. There's a lot more I want to say here, but I don't want to spoil it for anyone, so I will just say that I was disappointed. It got, I think, 2.5 stars. Anyway, moving on. Rainy season has officially started and I'm in the mood to just sit and read a whole ass book in one setting. So what we're moving on to is The Night Guest by Hildur Knutsdottir is my best estimation at what that last name is. Hildur Knutsdottir. This is a new release about a woman who lives in Iceland and she thinks that she has some unknown illness because she's constantly exhausted. She gets a full night of sleep, she wakes up exhausted, but then she gets an Apple Watch. Right? And she wakes up to find that she's walking over 40,000 steps every night. This feels like the right kind of creepy to me. We're set in a beautiful country. We have a protagonist who might secretly be an antagonist at night while she's asleep. Also, this sounds like the kind of thing that I would like to see adapted into a movie. What does it mean to look like a handball player? What does that mean? What? Okay, I was right about one thing. I would like to see it adapted into a movie, if only because I think that a movie would be able to get this idea across better. I don't know if it was the author or the translator or just like the Iceland of it all, but we were going through pretty emotional scenes and everything just felt so dry. There was very little emotion in our language and our tone. But once again, I've read a book during a video about horror books that did not scare me at all. Nothing had even an ounce of scary to me. It was like creepy, but not horror. I am not doing well with my predictions here. I think I'm gonna give The Night Guest a 2.25. And it pains me that I have now given two-star reviews to books that I pre-ordered and was like highly anticipating and paid full price for. Basically, this woman is dealing with grief, she's dealing with illness, she's dealing with bad stuff, creepy situations. And yet, like I said, I got so little emotion from it and I was very underwhelmed by the ending. It's so abrupt and it doesn't leave me feeling any kind of emotional climax. It's just kind of, it's like you're slowly walking towards a cliff and then the cliff happens. But like you're dead before you drop off the cliff. It just felt so flat and just super forgettable. When the setup for the book made it sound like it could have been this big, cool, unique thing. And I really do think that this would come across better as a movie. It's raining again. Can you see all that rain? I don't think you could see that rain very well. I'm gonna show you the rain. Rain. Okay, apparently I am really shitty at predicting 5-star books for myself. Cause so far we have a 3-star, a 2.5 star, and a 2.5 star. So I need to bring in the big guns here. Clearly, I've been too playful with it. I've been guessing, but I have 3 of my ringers here. The big dogs that I was saving for just in case this exact thing happened. Hold on, don't look. So we have Monstrilio, Gray Dog, and someone you can build a nest in. I'm so sure to the bottom of my heart that all 3 of these will be 5 stars. So I'm gonna choose one of these to round out the vlog, but I'm tired. I wanna watch a movie. I'm gonna sleep on it. I'm gonna choose tomorrow morning. One of these will be the last one, and it will be a 5-star. This, one of these. I'll figure it out tomorrow morning, but you'll see it right now.
One eternity later.
Alright, ignore whatever I said last. It's been a few days. I don't know her. Ignore what she said. Medically, we have a little bit more of an issue going on, which is why it's been a few days. Recently, I started feeling some things coming back, some symptoms from the shit that I was going through in April and May when I was dealing with all the neurological stuff. At first it was just little bits of vertigo here and there, but now it's gotten way worse. So the past few days I have been in bed fully zonked out of my mind with vertigo and dissociation, which means that the brain inflammation is also back. And one of the shitty things about whatever the fuck is going on inside my head is that sometimes I can't read while it's happening. I'll try to read a book and then I can't remember what happened like 2 or 3 pages ago. Neurological issues are the fucking worst. I have an EEG that's scheduled for a few days from now, and I have ENT and neurologist appointments a few days after that. So hopefully we'll have some kind of answer soon. Any kind of answer at all. I felt more lucid today than I have in a few days. So I read the next book and I chose another novella to make it easy on me, so that I didn't have to try and remember more than like 140 pages. And I also didn't film myself reading or anything like that because I just didn't have it in me. I didn't have the effort in me, but I did read it. And I have good news. The Crypt of the Moon Spider by Nathan Ballingrud is getting 4.5 stars. This is a pretty new release. It came out at the end of August, and it's about an alternate timeline. We're in the 1920s, and we already have space travel, and they have turned part of the moon into grounds for an insane asylum. Our main girl, Veronica, is being taken to this moon asylum because she gets a little bit depressed every now and then, and so her husband thinks that she's hysterical. And the moon doctor performs very special and proprietary surgeries on his patients. They're basically lobotomies where they insert the silk from giant, ancient, long dead moon spiders into the patient's brain to fix them. And that's all just what's on the back of the book. And I thought it was awesome. We have colonized the moon, but we still churn butter by hand and we don't have indoor plumbing. There are certain settings in the book where I get very distinct Phantom of the Opera vibes. Just the setting, not the characters. And once again, I've accidentally chosen a book about chronic illness. But in this one, you can just scoop the f***ed up part of your brain out and fill it in with healthier stuff, which is what my dreams are made of. Hey now. Crypt of the Moon Spider has a morally gray protagonist, and the whole thing feels like a fever dream, which is one of my favorite genres of book, or subgenres of book. And I don't know if it was my brain being swollen or what, but there's this whole group of characters. I almost ruined the book for myself because there's this whole group of characters. I couldn't stop imagining them as minions, even though They're absolutely nothing like Minions. They don't look like Minions. They don't act like Minions. I couldn't stop seeing Minions in my head, and it was really throwing me off, and it almost ruined part of the book for me. And I didn't even realize going in that this was going to be a series. Now I'm extra stoked. So if you take anything from this video at all, I hope it's I should go buy Crypt of the Moon Spider. I was also going to read Monstrilio in this vlog. I really, really want to read Monstrilio. I know that's gonna be my 5, but I just can't. I can't do it. I need to put my brain back on ice for a little bit. I don't even want to think about editing this video or how long that's gonna take without me being able to go on a 12-hour editing hot streak. So ultimately, I'm gonna call this vlog successful. I didn't get a 5, but I did get a 4.5. And that's good enough for me considering everything else that's going on right now. So overall, I read 4 books. Chlorine by Jade Song, which I gave a 3. Coup de Grace by Sophia Ajram, which I gave a 2.5. The Night Guest by Hildur Knudstottir, which I gave a 2.25. And Crypt of the Moon Spider by Nathan Ballingrud, which I gave a 4.5. I already filmed a health update, but a lot of things have changed in the past few weeks, so I scrapped that and I'm just starting fresh. If you have made it to this point in the video, congratulations. That means you care about hearing about my health update. So we're here together, we're in this together. This is gonna be a lot of information in as few sentences as possible. So if this is too long or too short for your liking, sorry, just bear with me. So in September, I had a seizure, which I mentioned before, which was brand new to me. Obviously, that's a very serious situation, so I pretty much put everything in my life on pause and tried to live in as stress-free a zone as possible while I racked up doctor's appointments to try and figure out what the f was going on. Last week I had an EEG. If you don't know what that is, it measures the electrical activity in your brain, and all that came back clear, which means I most likely do not have epilepsy, which is awesome. That's a great thing. Unfortunately, in October, while all of this waiting and testing was happening, some of my symptoms from earlier this year started coming back. If you don't know, in April and May, I had pneumonia that hit my vestibular nerve and traveled up into my brain, and I wound up with something called vestibular neuronitis, which triggered something called mal de débarquement syndrome, which is a very particular type of vertigo. And by the way, all of these things happening are extremely rare. So if you have pneumonia, I can almost assure you this will not happen to you. So don't worry, don't freak out. It is super fucking rare. I'm just lucky. If you have pneumonia, just take your antibiotics, drink water, rest, lay in bed, and don't worry about it. So anyway, a few weeks ago, the vertigo and deep dissociation that comes along with it started coming back, rendering me pretty fucking useless. I haven't been able to drive for like 2.5 weeks now, and honestly, like, the loss of freedom is one of the worst parts. I saw more doctors this week to try and figure out this, along with the seizure and why that might have happened, but unfortunately right now we're all kind of drawing a blank. In this exact moment, I'm waiting on approval from my insurance to do more imaging and for something called vestibular physical therapy, so I can at least help the symptoms while we're waiting for more solid answers. In the meantime, everything with my health is obviously uncertain. I don't know how fine or awful my symptoms will be on any given day or week, and there will absolutely be plenty more days before I get this figured out where I can't function, much less read or film or edit. So for anyone who has waited patiently for some kind of update or for me to come back and be more regular on here, I cannot express my appreciation for you enough. I've gotten notes, I've gotten emails, I've gotten books in the mail, I have felt the love, and it all just makes me want even harder for this bullshit to leave me alone so I can come back and lead a relatively normal life again. I really miss all of you guys. I miss YouTube. I miss the community that we've been building on here since March, and I am scared that I'll be gone for too long and I will lose all of it. For what it's worth, I'm sorry that I'm not functioning on optimal levels right now. I obviously hope that I'm gonna get through this as quickly as possible, but if I disappear for a few weeks at a time, at least you'll know what's going on. So for the time being, I'll be here hanging out with my animals, watching the rain, reading books when I can, making videos when I can. I had a lot of cool, spooky October videos planned, which sucks, but it just means I'll be saving them for next year. So I have next year's docket filled up, I guess. And now this video is probably way too long, so I'm gonna log off. But if you can hear me, if you can read the subtitles, I love you. And I appreciate you so much, and I'm so grateful that you are choosing to still be here even when I'm not able to be here as regularly. I promise I'm doing everything in my power to get better. Doing everything the doctors tell me. I'm sleeping so much. I've never slept this much in my life. Anyways, I already did the outro. I should shut up now. I'll see you soon. I love you. Bye. Between the comps here, that was loud, I'm sorry. This should be a perfect four star. Perfect 4-star. No. Does it look pretty?
Yes.
This book doesn't hold a candle to it, even an ounce. No, that's mean. That's mean. An ounce. I'll give you an ounce. Eh. Not ick, just eh. I'll figure it out tomorrow. Tomorrow? I'll figure it out tomorrow. In this, The Night Guest by Hilda Notes